still remain your Professor Inegbedion Juliet Ovajaje. Today we're going to look at discussion forum basics. What are the basics governing the discussion forums we normally have in our e-learning classroom, in our e-learning activities? So we're just going to walk through. Why discussion forum? Why do we normally encourage discussion forum in an e-learning classroom? One, it helps to build learners' interpersonal communication skills. And interpersonal communication skills is one of the skills that is usually required as employability skills. So once you have this skill as a student and at graduation, it will help you in your place of work because you will know how to interact with other persons. A lot of people have this issue. They find it difficult to interact with some other persons. Sometimes what they have in mind might be different from the way they present it. But within the discussion forum, you are able to build these skills within the learners. And this was one of the reasons some people were kicking against e-learning because they felt that in the face-to-face you have good opportunity where you can help learners develop these interpersonal communication skills. But based on that, with the use of the social approach and building the community approach within the e-learning space, then this forum discussion was actually encouraged to help learners achieve that. Secondly, it is one of the interactive devices because when you hear that for open and distance learning, you have to make learning interactive. This is one way you make learning interactive. This is one way that students can interact with the content. This is one way learners can interact with the learners and learners to interact with their facilitator. And at the same time, it prepares learners for collaborative and teamwork because there are some people after graduation, they may be very good in the work they have, the field in which they have graduated in, but they find it difficult to work with other persons. Through discussion forum, you are able to build that collaborative teamwork spirit that they will come up with at graduation. And again, finally, we look at it gives opportunity for bonding. You know, when you go to school, apart from you learn the content, you gain knowledge. Again, it brings a kind of bonding. You make friends, you socialize. And this is one way in which you can bring that social factor into play when you are working online. And in this regard, you discover that there are some people that make friends because of a post somebody has made. Another make a post on it and read through the post, and from there will be interested with maybe the pattern, the way the person is making the post, the kind of language he's using, and before you know it, they will make friends, become friends, even in the class. And the same thing happens between the lecturer, the facilitators in this instance, and their own learners. Because you are not seeing yourself physically, but through this method of discussion, you are able to identify those that are really good in the content and those that are not fair, that need support, and the rest of them. And you know so well, at the time of graduation, when you are being given your certificate, they will say, well, in content and in character. So with these two, you are able to know those that are emotional. There are some of them that are aggressive because the way they make their posts, you will know, and such things you are able to correct them. So these are the reasons why you really look into the discussion forum. It's very, very important in an e-learning environment. Now, lastly, it creates a sense of community. It gives you a sense of community, a sense of oneness. It helps you to socialize, know one another in this process. Now, how will you create engaging online discussion? Here we are looking at creating engaging online discussion forum. Because if you do not know the rudiment to follow to create an engaging online discussion forum, definitely you may not be able to achieve all the things we have just listed. You might find it difficult achieving it. So let's look at some of the ways we can do this. Set your objective, which must reflect the learning objective. How do I mean? When you are setting your objective, because you have a purpose, why you are coming up with a discussion forum, and why you are setting up that purpose, definitely it must not negate the objective you already have in the course. Remember, you have your course objectives. And at the same time, you have the learning objectives that have been defined in the various units of study. So when you are coming up with the objective, there must be a direction, there must be a reason, there must be a goal that you want to achieve for that discussion forum. And you can come up with this, which might act as a guide. You might decide to say, okay, for my discussion forum, I want to make it multiple perspective, which means make your post, let as many people that wish look at it and respond to it. If that is the purpose, fine. Then you might say, no, I want it to be a peer review, because there are some discussion forums actually you could score, you could use it as an assessment if you want to. But when you want to do that, you are checking their own engagement. It is, what will you do in this instance? You make the student to review one another. And reviewing one another, there might be some things you want to check, whether they know how to carry out such review. And this will be very nice too, even for those that are in education, in the area of teaching, when you want to test their assessment techniques, you could use it for them. But however, any of these you may want to use, the size of the class is a determinant, because if the size is so large and you want to have a peer review, it may be so large. Then lastly, do you want them to learn how to collaborate? You want to create collaborative activities. You can do this. You can break your class into a group and you give them assignments. And it could be the same discussion forum, quite okay. But you break them into a group to go and work together, and they will choose a presenter among themselves to make presentation in the discussion forum. And whatever thing that is being assessed on that, then it binds on everybody in that group. Again, you'll discover that what you are trying to create there, you are trying to help them to choose whom they will pick as their own leader. You are not choosing for them, and you want them to work together, and you might put some regulations in place to check the contribution of each and every one of them. So if you do this, you discover that yes, you want to set up a discussion forum, but there is a focus. You have a purpose that you want to achieve. Now, identify the theme for discussion. You want to have a discussion. Remember, we have talked about looking at determining the skills that you want the student to take away. And from there, we're able to come up with the redefined topics which we are presenting for each week. Now, look through that. And when you look at that skill, the ability you want them to be able to exhibit after graduation, then you look at the competency you want them to take away, what you want them to be able to do. It can help you come up with a discussion forum, so they could discuss within that content. And with that, you will be able to actually achieve what you need to achieve. They define the rule of engagement. Whether you call it rule of engagement, or you call it codes of conduct, or you call it ground rules, this you must do before the commencement of discussion forum, so that the students will know what they are to do, what you are expecting from them. It is very, very important. And they will be able to assess the level that they need to participate in that particular discussion. Now, let's look at the guide on setting ground rules. What are the guides when you want to set ground rules? Well, these are some of them, not exhaustive. Let learners know their role. I've just mentioned that. Let them know the role that they are going to play. Let them know the role, the function, what you are expecting from them. Because if they don't know their expectation, then they could just define their own role in their own different ways. And that could bring a wieldy discussion in your page. Now, how they should behave when interacting with peer, making comments on posts and so on. You must let them, you must give that guide. They must be courteous. Then you could tell them, oh, don't be emotional, because some people are really emotional, and because of that, they will just write nasty things, and you have to let them know. They respect cultural diversity. Sometimes you'll see some people, you have set a course, and right there, they are now bringing under the rule. You can now even let them know the punishment that will follow. Let them know the sanction that will follow, because if you set the rule, it will help you monitor your class. What to post and where to post it. This is very important. I think in our past experience, we see students on a discussion forum, they say, hey, have you done your TMA? This is not where you have to put whether have you done your TMA. And when it comes to that, you have to make your choice. So let them know what to post and what not to post. Now, can they create a new post to start their own discussion? Again, in our past experiences, we discovered that students will just start creating their own discussion. Sometimes because they do not even know, some of them, they do it so innocently. They don't know how to respond to posts. So it is our duty when you are setting the ground rules, let them know how they will respond to posts. And again, even in your first lesson during the video conferencing, when you are meeting them for the first time, which is real time, they are seeing you, you are seeing them. These are some of the things you can demonstrate to them so that they will know how to respond to posts. So that they will not just go there, create and start making another post, another discussion forum altogether. So if you show them, they will know how to do it. So set the ground rule. Now let it be part of your discourse in the first video. Conferencing class when discussing course guide. It is very, very important. You know you are going to look at discussion forum. So include that discussion forum. This is where you can let them know. Tell them about it. In their synchronous, send them something about it so that they will know the focus. You know what normally happens in the face-to-face environment. In the face-to-face, the first day you enter the class, a new semester, the first day for that particular course, you don't just jump into teaching. First and foremost, you set the ground rules, you let them know the topics that you are going to cover, and the rest, what is that? The expectation. You let them know the expectation. So once they do this and they get to know it, it will help to manage your class and manage the discussion forum when you get along. Now, creating engaging discussion forums. What are we to do when you are creating or you have to create engaging discussion forums? Sometimes some people say, oh, I don't want a discussion forum. It's not really engaging enough. It's not this, it's not that. Why? Because of the way it is being created. So what do you need to do? There are things you need to say. Avoid close-ended questions. Avoid close-ended questions. For example, how do we create a novel? Things Fall Apart. Discuss and respond to 5 posts from your colleagues. Now, this discussion forum, can we say it is a good one? Let's look at it. It's already closed. Who wrote the novel, Things Fall Apart? Yes, you can easily say who wrote it. So in this case, actually, there is nothing to discuss. Let's look at it. The conversation may end thus. Chinua Achebe. We know Chinua Achebe wrote it. And if one person puts Chinua Achebe and the person is right, although not everybody may get it as Chinua Achebe, somebody may put something there. But let's assume one person out of 20 or 30 in the class, one person just wrote Chinua Achebe. What will follow? Another person will just put there, I agree. Then another person may come, I agree too. So at the end, you discover there is no discussion. You will now discover there is no discussion because there is nothing conversational. It is because of the way the question has been constructed. So who wrote the novel, Things Fall Apart? Chinua Achebe, and that is it, it's right. But what do we do? Let us assume we have this. Do not ask broad questions that have no direction. First, don't ask close-ended questions. Now, again, we are saying, do not ask broad questions that have no direction. Let's look at this again. What do you think about the ongoing e-learning training organized by DLCMS? Reflect and reply to 3 of your colleagues. What do you think about this? You see that it is broad. What do you think about the ongoing e-learning training organized by? There are so many things that will come in your ways. Are we looking at the planning? Are we looking at, because so many aspects has been addressed during the course of the training. So it is wide. If you leave it as something that to be discussed, it will be too wide and there is maybe no control, and on the long run, you might not really achieve what you needed to achieve. So this is just to get the student because there is no specific purpose. So what do we now need to do? Ask questions that are open-ended and specific. The questions will speak for themselves. Remember, if we are to be in the face-to-face class, and you present a question for discussion in the class, where we need clarity, you can just call the attention of the person for clarity. But in this case, the students are not seeing you physically, so they may not be able to call on you for clarity. So therefore, you have to ask your questions in such a way that it will be clear, it will be self-explanatory to everyone, that it will not be vague. So how will it go? Let's look at an example here. E.g., in the world over, conventional system of learning is said to be more engaging than e-learning. But with the coming of COVID-19, conventional schools want to blend their learning to be part of e-learning and part face-to-face. Most people are not comfortable with the e-part because they feel it's not as engaging as the face-to-face and is more demanding. What is your view? If you look at it, it is open for discussion. And again, there is a direction, there is a purpose. Now let's look at it again. In the world over, we have given a background. Conventional system of learning is said to be more engaging than e-learning because you feel you see face-to-face. But with the coming of COVID-19, conventional schools want to blend their learning to be part e-learning and part face-to-face, which means now they want to blend their learning to be part e-learning and part should be face-to-face. But what we are saying that most people are not comfortable with the e-part because they feel it's not as engaging. So you are looking at the word here, engaging, and you are looking at it's more demanding. So the focus here is it really engaging? Is it really more demanding? Maybe we want to bring it up as a discussion so that the outcome of the discussion can be used to take a good decision. So here, what is your view? And you discover that when these such kind of discussion are properly held, at the end, you are able to take proper decision that could help improve the focus of your discussion. Because this is education, but you might have a discussion that is not under education. So let's move on. Now, give feedbacks. Make sure that your discussion, there is opportunity for feedbacks. Now, when you have your post, you have to create opportunity that other students will be able to make comments on what other persons have posted. Remember, you have your ground rule, and they will follow the ground rule to make those posts. And at the same time, you as a facilitator, you should come in from time to time to check what is going on so that you'll be able to direct. Remember, you are not at the center of the discourse, but you are to direct. And again, they are expecting feedback from you. Just imagine you are in the face-to-face class and the discussion is going on. You allow 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 persons to stand up, they air their view, and after that, you have to say something so that they will know the direction of the discussion. So that is what we have. Once you do this, you are bound to have a good discussion forum that can sustain the class. Now let's look at this. Read the following question and comment on the structure and make recommendation whether the question is adequate for discussion forum. Now I leave you to this. This is the question here. So read it, and I'm going to give you 2 minutes to take that decision. Read through it. Read through it. I want you to take an decisive decision. Okay, I said I was going to give 2 minutes, but I've given 1 minute 20 seconds. And I could see that a lot of you have already finished what you needed to do. So now, let's read the question together again. It said, it is often said that a successful e-learning starts with a good plan. Which part of the plan should e-learning providers give more attention? Not more than 200 words. So what this is saying is, in no more than 200 words, say which part. But let's look at the answers we have here. Let's discuss it. Here, I said it's recommended. For those of you that have put there recommended, yes, I applaud you. Why? We'll not just put recommended or not recommended. There is a reason. If you look at it again, it is often said that a successful e-learning starts with a good plan. So there is a background developed. We have an idea, structured, purpose. There's which part of the plan should e-learning providers? See, we want to get information that will help the e-learning providers direct their own, to direct where they put their effort in more. So in this case, you discover that yes, it's purposive and there is direction being given. So which part of the plan, which means the plan, you have several steps in the plan, but which part of the plan should e-learning provider give more attention? So when you are walking through this, you see your attention is on the plan, one, and you look through the plan, and your attention is which one will the e-learning providers give more attention. And here there is a control, no more than 200 words. Yes, it's open, but in a way it is closed. But the openness has given you opportunity to air your view. So when you do this, you discover that yes, you are able to have a good direction. Now let's look at the last part. Managing discussion forum. Managing discussion forum. The learners are at the center, not the facilitator. The learners are the center. So when you make your post, your own is to create the idea, make the post, let it go there. You are not the one that will now be going and be making more contribution that is you they will be seen everywhere. No. What do you do is the learners. Give opportunity to the learners to interact with one another. Then facilitators, the facilitator monitors the conversation to ensure discussion is on the topic. It is your duty as a facilitator to monitor the discussion. Like I said a while ago, some of them may just post something that is not supposed to be. It is your duty to make that correction, and because sometimes you have to send private mail, sometimes you just expunge the person because you have negated the rules. Then there are some, they may use words that are not supposed to be. There are some instances you have to send private mail to that person. You private chat or send private mail to that person. And in some instance, you just have to make it public so that others will learn from it and there will be no other person that will make such error. Read posts and motivate good comments. If your post is going to run for 4 days or running for 5 days, from the start date, start reading. There are some people that will still come and post after the end date. You are not concerned with those ones. But for those that have been posting, there are some of them that will make good posts, good comments. Please go there and motivate them. You might simply just put there good, or you may just give a thumbs up. give it to them, and that motivate them. And that will not only motivate the student that posted that particular post, it will equally motivate even the other learners. Because when they get there, they read and they see good. That good will make them to stop and read the content in that page. Why is it good? And that will help a great deal too. Then with the discussion on the deadline. When the deadline comes, make sure you have gone through everything there, and once you go through it, weave the discussion. Because once you weave the discussion, then it will give an opportunity to you to come up with a new idea. For example, like the topics we have looked at, when you are asking which part of the plan will the e-learning provider give attention to, you see that people are going to make a lot of comments. And on the long run, you'll be able to come up with the one where people are having more attention on. And that could be something that will be useful to the e-learning planners. With this, we have come to the end of this lesson, and I will be meeting you in the class tomorrow. So before we meet tomorrow, I would like you to prepare your questions. Go through the video once more and come up with the areas you need more clarification on. And until then, I say bye-bye.